the tribal region of Pakistan, which is known as FATA, the Federally Administered Tribal Area. This is the area adjacent to Afghanistan, which is called the epicenter of terror, and from where the most dangerous and complex persistent insurgency has emanated for last 1 decade. This tribal area is, as I've said, next to the border of Afghanistan. It's very treacherous terrain. And the formidable force of insurgents and terrorists, they are known as the Pakistani Taliban or the Tehreek-e-Taliban, they are the frontmen or the stooge or ally of Al-Qaeda. In fact, it was in 2001 when this area became infested with the foreign people. The significance I will read out for you. The insurgency and terrorism emanating from the tribal region of Pakistan is a serious threat to Pakistan and to other countries as well. This is the uniqueness of this insurgency that's dangerous because it is not restricted to that tribal region only. It's a threat to the entire country and to the region and to other countries of the world as well. This phenomena is offspring of persistent turmoil in Afghanistan, as I've already told you. After US and NATO forces will leave Afghanistan, we fear that the insurgency will further intensify here. This is the map of the federally administered tribal area. As you see that there are 7 main agencies, and this time the insurgency is going on in the last 2 where I've written SWA and NWA. This is the North Waziristan and South Waziristan. This, as you see, it is all along bordered with Afghanistan. So as I said, it was only after 2001 that FATA started becoming a safe haven for all sorts of Islamist militants, local, regional and international. This phenomena began when the US forces invaded Afghanistan in pursuit of Osama bin Laden and his Al-Qaeda fighters there. As a result of Operation Anaconda, the Al-Qaeda fighters fled from the Tora Bora mountains where they were taking shelter in Afghanistan, and they sneaked into Pakistan from the porous border, which is very open. These people who fled from Afghanistan, they were conveniently harbored in FATA by the local tribes and groups. Why this safe haven in FATA embraced Al-Qaeda so conveniently needs to be explained quickly. When the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in 1979, Pakistan, at the behest of US, became the frontline state to develop resistance forces against the Soviet forces and its puppet regime in Afghanistan. So Pakistan had always, as you know, Pakistan had always been the ally, US ally, in containment of communism in the region. The US and Pakistan developed Mujahideen to put up a fight against the Soviet forces in Afghanistan. The CIA funded the operations, and Pakistan encouraged the people to join hand with Mujahideen in Afghanistan. So large number of people from this region, the FATA region, got involved in so-called jihad or supported the Afghan Mujahideen in one way or the other. So an environment was created that as if it was a religious duty to support the Mujahideen. The Soviet Afghan jihad continued till 1988. The Soviet forces had to roll out of Afghanistan. Its puppet regime was wrapped up, and Mujahideen came into power. With this, the US lost its interest in the region, and they almost abandoned it without wrapping up the infrastructures it had created in Pakistan. The 10 years of euphoria of jihad introduced what we called Kalashnikov culture in Pakistan. Pakistan also did not bother to dismantle the infrastructure they had created with the help of US to fight in Afghanistan. So therefore, when the Al-Qaeda militants sneaked into FATA after 2001, the resisting jihadi infrastructure and groups harbored and supported these Al-Qaeda and its affiliates and very soon they started effectively challenging the rate of state. But I would say it was not a sudden spike and unforeseen development. Things had been brewing up there. The soil was fertile for this kind of activity there. The state-sponsored jihadi activities to counter Soviet invasion in Afghanistan had given birth to religious extremism and sectarianism in Pakistan. So the soil was already fertile and favorable for full-blown terrorist activities after 2001. As I say, there are 7 agencies: Khyber, Khurram, Orakzai, Mohammed, Bajour, North Waziristan and South Waziristan. These are the districts of FATA, and it is inhabited by 7 main Pashtun tribes having 3.2 million population, and out of 6 tribes, they live on either side of the border in Afghanistan and Pakistan as well. But in this area, Pakistani courts and police have no jurisdiction. In fact, the 4 things: political agent, the elders of the area who are called Maliks, and the Jirga, the local elders group, and the frontier crime regulation. This was the system established by the British to rule these people, and that system is still continuing there. So it became also, the US and others have been very, very concerned about this area because they thought that Al-Qaeda is based here and they are planning to attack. They have global agenda, so Pakistan should dismantle them. When the Pakistani forces tried to attack them, they raised the force of the local terrorists and insurgents. So that they were small in number, they created a large number, about 30,000 insurgents of local people. They funded them, they raised them, and they, for so many years, they are fighting with the Pakistani state. They are carrying out insurgency in FATA area and terrorism in all urban centers of Pakistan. So time and again, so that's why America started the drone campaign also there. Drone campaign was effective as well, but it attracted a lot of opposition from Pakistanis. They considered it an attack on their sovereignty. And it also, as the chief of the insurgents said, that every drone attack and every person killed in the drone attack brings 3-4 more suicide bombers to me, because Pashtuns have their tribal traditions and they always indulge in revenge. So this thing has been going on for years, and they have been very brutal people. They have learned these brutal tactics from Taliban in Afghanistan and from Al-Qaeda in Iraq, like beheading, bombing the civil people, not only police and army and security agents, all the markets, shrines, mosques, they have bombed each and everything. And they would like to kill and hang any sort of opponent that comes across them. Pakistani government has been trying to negotiate with them, and they have carried out operations against them also. But so far, we have not been able to curtail them. Now, when the new democratic, popularly elected government of Nawaz Sharif came into power last year, they tried to talk with these terrorists. After 4, 5, 6 months of effort, it failed because terrorists were not in a mood to talk. They carried on their terrorist activities. And now when there was an attack on the Karachi airport, after that, Pakistan Army has launched a full-fledged operation in the area. These are the networks which are existing there, which you can have an idea of the international shape of form of this area. Taliban, the local, Al-Qaeda, the East Turkmenistan Islamic movement, the Uzbekistan movement, the Afghani group, they're Afghanis, and number of other groups operating from there. People who attacked the Karachi airport were mostly Uzbeks. The good thing is that there were pockets of people who are putting up resistance against them. Next. Yes. This is the girl Malala Yousafzai. You might have heard her name. when the Taliban were bombing and destroying the schools, especially the girls' schools in Swat area, which is outside Fatah, she is the one who put up resistance. And she said, I will go to school in any case. Then she was shot in her head by one of the Taliban, but she is alive and she was nominated for Nobel Prize as well.